Hello everyone, this is Adrian from Astrophoto Bobcat. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a video for processing, and my last video I was very proud to present you the Horset Nebula, which I was able to get about over 100 hours of data, and I hope you saw it and you enjoy it and you love the image. I certainly do, and I believe it's one of my best achievements when it comes to astrophotography. And today we'll go in a different direction with a little bit less data. We do have Cocoon Nebula, and we do have about 24 hours of data. And why do I say it's too little? Because the aperture and the focal length of my telescope is not necessarily proper for this target. This target is very small, and I do have about 900, less than 900 millimeters with the reducer. I would say probably about 750, 760 when it comes to focal length, and it is quite challenging to get data and to have a very good clear image of this target. However, it does have a lot of extra nebulosity around, which perhaps I need to add more data in order to see that. But I'm just curious what we got. Is the first time I'm processing it. Again, it's about 10 hours hydrogen alpha, it's about 8 hours of sulf, and roughly 5 hours of oxygen. I use the QHY 268M monochrome camera. I'm using Antlia 3 nanometer filters for capturing my monochrome images, and let's see what we come up with. So stick around, and again, welcome back to the channel. In order to keep the video a little bit shorter, I've already done some work on the hydrogen that you can see right here, the first image on the sulf channel and the oxygen channel. And as always, my oxygen doesn't look great. If you look in the corner, it's a little bit darker. It's from the flats. As you know, that's my biggest the biggest issue I have in astrophotography, the flats. And then I did combine them in a Hubble palette, as I usually do, and which I love doing, because you get a different spectrum, you get a different coloration. And then I also do it in LRGB. As you can see over here, you can see the red nebula right in the middle. This is the Cocoon, and as you can observe in the image, if you look a little bit closer, tracking has been good. Flats, except the oxygen, good, but you can see the lack of data if you look close over here. As you can see, these smudges, and it's a lot of potential. As I said, like, it's best to gather as much data as possible to get the best images, but sometimes the weather doesn't permit. Sometimes you have technical issues with the telescope, and that's why I wanted to show you this video, how to process data when you don't have a lot of data. And what I'm going to do next, I will subtract the stars from the LRGB channel right here. And the reason I do that is because this seems to be the most natural colors. As you can see, you have the yellow stars and then you have the bluish stars, and they keep their color more or less. I mean, ideally would be to do the stars separately in RGB channel. That's something that I want to do, but I'm missing a filter. Because one of the positions in my 7-wheel filter wheel that I have on my telescope, it's H beta. Then I have RGB but you also need a luminance channel for that. I took the stars out on this image, and I will do the same for the Hubble palette image. I will discard the stars on this one. We will be keeping the stars from the LRGB image for the final take. And once we do that, we can move into Photoshop, and I'll show you how to combine all these to get one final decent image, I hope. Okay, so we are in Photoshop, and we will start with the LRGB combination, and we'll see what can we work with it. And the first thing we'll do, we'll go to camera raw filter, which is a very helpful tool in Photoshop to do a lot of things. And as always, what I do is like test a little bit on the shadows, highlights to see how it looks, you know, get the luminosity out. We work on the contrast a little bit, the blacks, which you know, usually can help you bring out nebulosity. And as I was telling you before, if you look in the image, you can see all this area around has a lot of nebulosity. So the more data we will get, eventually the more you would bring out. And I work usually on the saturation a little bit, and take one by one and try to play around and see what looks good. And over here, these are the colors, shadows, highlights. I always love to alter a little bit over here and get to the natural color of the nebula. But you always have to be very careful how much you push, how much you go. As you can see, that was affecting the background. I think this one looks pretty good. And a little bit of noise reduction, color noise reduction, and a little bit of sharpening, and we are good over here. The next step, we do the levels again. As you can see, the image is a little bit more stretched now based on what we did in the I forgot the name of camera raw filter. What we did in the camera raw filter, the image stretched a little bit, you know, some data comes out. And I like to use the Pro Digital software and use AstroFlat Pro, especially on this kind of images. As you can see, you can get rid of that bluish hue around. Again, you have to be very careful with this. You cannot, you know, you have to see exactly what works. As you can see, if you do dark noise reduction, it cuts into the data. And let's try like this. And again, over here you can see the lack of data that I was telling you about, and you can see these images. You can see that something's supposed to be there, but it's not clear enough. Obviously, the nebula in the middle, the cocoon, looks okay because it's very bright. But I'm saying as a general around it, and if you look online, you can definitely find it and see what I'm talking about. Is a lot of gas, especially around. Basically the whole area looks like very, very cool, but you need more data for that. Next thing that I would like to do on this one, I will go back to my tools that I have over here, and I'm using Photochemist Start tools, and some of the things are very, very useful, like level stretch luminance. As you saw before, I lower a little bit the level, and now I'm doing the luminance. I am working on doing the reducing background noise, and that's you know, all the smidges, kind of smooth them out. And another thing that I like to usually do is Topaz Lab AID noise. Not on all my images I'm doing this, but in this case, because you have the lack of data, you are better off if you are using it. And then the noise, it gives you a standard, a clear, a low light, and a severe noise. And we will go with the severe noise because I think that's the most appropriate for this situation. As you lack the data, the more noise is present. And of course, again, try to see the levels. And I'm not really sure if you can see over here, but I will show you. If you go close, you see a point. And that is from the oxygen data. And I will be very crass about it, and I will just fix it like this, which is not necessarily the best. But if you want to be lazy about it and you don't want to go to the whole other processing situation, you do that. And I'm using this correction tool over here and over here, especially that you cannot make up any nebulosity. You're not affecting anything. I don't necessarily recommend it. Again, it's a lazy way of doing things. And but yeah, this is as best as you can get it, I would say. And let's work on this one a bit, and we will start with the level over here. And let's see how much we can stretch, and then we going to use the camera raw filter as we used it in the other image. And I will show you at the end exactly what this does when you combine the both of them. And it depends on what kind of combination you use. You might bring out some things that only in a singular image probably you wouldn't be able to obtain. And I'll show you in a second. Just bear with me over here with the same processing that I did to the last image. I'm doing over here, sharpening, a little bit of noise reduction. In this situation we can use a little bit of vignetting because, as you can see in the corners, I mean, you cannot really see it, but it's because of the vignetting, it looks quite bad. But we're gonna darken this up, and let's try to combine these two images and see what we got. What I find interesting, this one, it's a little bit less noisy. I didn't apply the Topaz Lab on this one, and it looks very good if you compare it to this one. It's a lot of noise over here compared to this one, which is less noise. And let's combine it. I will drag this image, the red one, and we're gonna move it in top of the Hubble palette, and we do Control T so we can match it exactly. And this is where you can actually use a little bit of you know, imagination and see what works best. When you do, you can use screen, right, which is, you know, like a basic. Multiply, it doesn't look good. As you see, everything gets dark. Color burn, even worse. Darker color, this is not the natural colors. As you can see, looks pretty cool, but you don't want to do that. Color dodge, it's even worse. Linear dodge, the same thing. What I do, I take one by one. Soft light, hard light, linear light, pin light. Now, you can use the opacity over here. Go somewhere to 50. Let's say, let's go down to 20. I don't really see the difference over here. This is very interesting. Green. Okay. Okay. Well, this seems to be good. So I'm using the screen. It feels like it's the best kind of balance. The Nebula is no more red, it's a little bit like orangey, but I'll show you what to do to get back that red. And for that we're gonna go to, again, camera raw filter, and over here we're gonna go to midtones, shadows, highlights, and we start with the midtones and see what this takes us in terms of color red for this nebulosity. You don't want to go too much, you have to find a balance. As I said, over here you can see it's affected the background mostly, which I don't think we need to touch, and this one it affects right in the middle. It's an interesting process over here to strike the right balance. You need to, I think this like looks like a natural kind of color, and then we do a little bit more noise reduction, and over here we can do a level stretch, and I think this is quite okay. I mean, not ideal, but you can see the nebulosity. Also, this target is very small for this telescope. This is more suited for my 2000mm RC telescope. That's another thing. But as you know, you can, when you shoot the same target, we can get two different views. So this one would be the wide field. If let's say you have 100 hours, you will have a lot of data around here. If you do just if you use the 2000mm, you would probably be somewhere over here, but the aperture and the focal length would help you clarify everything inside, everything in this nebula. You would see more details, right? But the beauty of using both telescopes, you know, I'm a big fan of that. I have at this moment 3 apertures that I'm using: 400mm, 900 and 2000. And we took the stars, we put them onto the image, and we use the screen, and we merge down. And over here I do have another tool that I like to use. Sharpen Stars is the same from Photochemistrat tools, and it gives you a little bit of a sharper, you know, it's self-explanatory, but it does sharpen the stars. If you go close over here, if you go close, let's say over here, this is with without, and this is with sharpening tool for the stars. And one more thing, I will adjust the curves. Okay, something is off. It's the layer, the wrong layer. Let's see over here if we can adjust a little bit the curves, so it makes a little bit brighter the image in the center. Don't want to go too much. And then yeah, I think this is it. I mean, I do have a variation of this image, about the same amount of data, with that it came out very well. It came out with blue, red, like a little bit of a Hubble palette type of image. I'll try to find it and I'll present that as well next to this one. But yeah, this is basically a very easy processing. Nothing done severely, nothing done, we're using a lot of noise exterminator and stuff like that, because as I said, not having a lot of data implies that you need to kind of compromise. But the image is all right. It's not it's not the greatest image out there, and needs to be a lot of work done to it, as in added data. But you not going to have it always ideally. And if you don't have something to present on your Instagram account or YouTube account or whatever, I think this is an interesting thing to show in my view. Thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.